Hey everyone, welcome to the Mike Rosehart Show, live today. It's going to be a short stream. We're only going to have 15 minutes or less today. I have a birthday celebration after this, so I've got to be quick on this stream. So we'll try to go super quick today. Hey Rob, how you doing? Thanks for the birthday wishes, appreciate that. Live here no matter what. Even on the week of my birthday, I'm going live. I've gone live when I'm on vacation. I've gone live consistently, no matter what. Today for my birthday, if anyone wants to contribute on my Facebook page, there is a link to the Boys and Girls Club of London, where you can make a donation for my birthday. So that's what I'm asking for this year, is if someone wants to give me a gift, just go ahead and donate to the Boys and Girls Club of London. They're a fantastic organization that helps those who are most at risk. They help them with the teens in the community. They have some great drop-in programs after school for younger kids as well. I know myself personally, when I was growing up in Sarnia, I would frequent the Boys and Girls Club because they were the only place that had a printer, a computer, and the internet, so I could get my homework assignments done. And I actually was really thankful to have the support of volunteers there who actually helped me in like grade 4, grade 5, and grade 6 with some projects. So I don't know, they kind of helped shape me a little bit. Maybe not the total reason for my success, but definitely were there in the community as an anchor for those who grew up in lower socioeconomic status. And those people know that one of my missions in life is to make an equal playing field for those people who grew up without a lot. If you grew up with not a lot, everyone should have an opportunity to climb the corporate ladder. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with our system. I think there's a lot of ways to improve it, but one of the ways that we can make it better is giving everyone equal access to education, equal access to opportunity, and equal access to the right to work. Everyone should have the right to work and succeed in our society. And so they're an awesome organization. And so go on my Facebook and find that post and click it and donate to the Boys and Girls Club of London if you want to give me any support for the birthday. But any questions you guys have, shoot them on here. Thank you for the happy birthday, Elizabeth. Rob, thank you. Anna, thank you. Joe, thank you. Mr. McHale, thank you. Ashley, thank you. Ace of Spades, happy birthday. Can you tell us a bit about private banking? Pros and cons, where the difference is compared to normal banking. 1 second, I'm gonna try to kill the sound echo here. I'm just gonna jump on this bed and grab some stuff behind here and see if that helps. Sorry about that, guys. I don't have a stand or anything to absorb this, but it's the best I can do right now. That should help a little bit. Okay, so private banking. So private banking is the same as retail banking typically, except there's some few advantages. So in private banking, you typically have a rep that's assigned to you. So if you wanted to do, let's say you were buying a property and you needed a bank draft. If you had a retail bank, you'd have to go in, meet with the teller, explain why you need the money, then they give you a draft. You have to go deliver it to your lawyer to buy the property. With private banking, you're an elite level client. Like there's retail banking and then there's private banking. And private banking is basically like, hey, you're an important person to this bank. You have some assets or some investments with us or a bunch of mortgages and investments, whatever. We want your business. And so we are going to give you, usually there's a fee associated with having private banking, but with that you get a different level of service. So you get the same person that always knows you. They'll courier a draft for you. You call your private banking person, they'll courier a draft to your lawyer for you. You don't have to leave your house. They'll do it all for you. So that's kind of cool with private banking. Other cool stuff with private banking, you can get some really cool different products that you can't get on the retail side. They qualify you for mortgages and loans differently. They'll look at things like assets as opposed to just income. They'll look at the overall picture, your past, all that kind of stuff, and they'll make a holistic decision. So that's something that's kind of cool about private banking. Another cool thing is, let's say you had $1 million in a stock portfolio in your private banking portfolio. Another cool thing about private banking, no NSF fees when checks bounce, it's free. If you want appraisals on properties, usually the private bankers will comp that. They have a different plan than the retail side. In the retail side, they're trying to nickel and dime you. In the private banking side, they're trying to get your whole business. And so they'll get you on the fees for your investments and things, but there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with private banking. So I am a private banking client. I'm also a retail banking client too. I bank with several banks. It's good to have variety. But the thing that's cool about private banking is, let's say a $1 million stock portfolio, typically you can invest that with them and they'll give you a line of credit against your stock portfolio. Let's say you bought, the bank stocks, some tech stocks, whatever. You buy a bunch of collection of stocks that pay dividends, call it 6% annual dividend yield. You go build a portfolio with them. They might charge you some small management fee. Let's say you make a 10% annual return, they'll take a percent fee or something, right? So you have like 9% net, but they will also often comp or cover the cost of your private banking. So you get all your banking for free. And they'll typically set you up with a secured line of credit against your stock portfolio, usually 70% loan to value. So you put $1 million in a stock portfolio, they'll give you a line of credit at 4% for 700 grand. So that's something that's kind of cool, I think, in the private banking space. So great question. Wow, look who we have here. The one and only Matt McKeever. How you doing, bud? Good to see you on. We're talking about private banking right now, so I'll finish this question off. Pros and cons. What are the differences compared to normal banking? Which banks do you like to bank with now, and which ones did you use before? So ACE, so some of the things that, what I like about each bank. So Bank of Montreal was the bank that I started with. No, Bank of Nova Scotia was the bank that I started with. Bank of Montreal was the bank that I got my first mortgage with when I was 19, and so I moved most of my banking over there, but I've been with TD, Bank of Montreal, Bank of Nova Scotia, and a local credit union, or who I bank with. Pros and cons, Bank of Montreal here in Ontario and in Canada, fantastic joint venture partner bank account product that they have. So you open one lead account and you get 20 other bank accounts for free included under the lead plan. So if you wanted to go buy 5 properties with 5 joint venture partners, you can add them to one of the plan accounts and it's included for free. So you get unlimited bank drafts, unlimited e-transfers, no fees, all that kind of stuff, all in one cool plan. You can check it out and they'll give you the exact details. But basically, it's Bank of Montreal is what I call the joint venture bank account. That's where I would do all my partnering stuff just because they have a really favorable program. Whereas at like TD or Bank of Nova Scotia, every time you open a new bank account, each bank account has to have a plan on it. So you're paying like a bank fee and you have certain transaction costs with each and every bank account. With Bank of Montreal, you get 20 of them for free under one lead account. So the other 19 accounts are completely free. Even if they're different people on all 19 accounts, it can all be under one bank card when you log in, which is fantastic and easy when you're trying to pay all the different properties, or you have to pay a contractor for one property and another e-transfer for another property. You're all in one banking login profile. So from a real estate investor's joint venture handbook perspective, I'd recommend BMO all the way. Bank of Nova Scotia is who I like, BNS. They're fantastic. Their mortgage products are the most competitive in the space. They have some of the best purchase plus improvement programs that I discovered in 2016. They have some of the best lending policies. I think they take the whole piece of the picture and they put it all together, whereas I didn't find that same flexibility with Bank of Montreal when it came to qualifying for mortgages. And then just from a rates perspective, they're all pretty much the same, but I found a little bit better from Bank of Nova Scotia and just the flexibility of their products. So as an example, all Bank of Nova Scotia mortgages that I've ever seen come with a built-in line of credit. So as you pay down the mortgage, you get an automatic line of credit without having to reapply. They just give it to you. You just go in whenever you want, and you can open it up. But every Bank of Nova Scotia mortgage, as the principal gets paid down, you get a free secured line of credit. So let's say you get a $200,000 mortgage. 5 years from now, you've paid it down to $150,000. You can walk into Bank of Nova Scotia anytime and say, hey, I have $50,000 in mortgage pay down over the last 5 years. Can I have a step? It's called the STEP program. Can I have a STEP line of credit that I can have access to at the mortgage rate, I believe it is. That's a huge advantage, and all the Bank of Nova Scotia mortgages are doing that. So all my mortgages at Bank of Nova Scotia, which I have like 80% of my mortgages, or 70% of my mortgages with them, and they're all, as they're being paid down, they're all creating lines of credits that I can tap into at any time. So big fan of Bank of Nova Scotia. Their private banking products are fantastic, and the cool thing with the stock portfolio private banking theory that I talked about was, let's say at $1 million, you put $1 million into a stock portfolio. They'll give you a line of credit for $700,000. So you basically get $1 million in whatever shares you buy, whatever shares you want, blue chip stuff, whatever you want to buy, Apple, Bank of Nova Scotia if you wanted to, Google, whatever, blue chip stuff, right? Bell, Enbridge, whatever. You buy those companies that pay healthy dividends. Those dividends pay all of your line of credit interest and put profit in your pocket, plus you gain appreciation, and you just got $700,000 back. So you put $1 million in, you get $700,000 back. You're holding $1 million in shares still, and you get 700 grand. You can put it back with them again and have 1.7 million in shares now, and then increase your line of credit again, 70% loan to value on the 1.7. And so then you get theoretically another on the extra 700,000, you get another 70% of that. So another almost 500 grand added to your line of credit. So you have 1.2 line of credit. So your $1 million investment into their investment portfolio with Bank of Nova Scotia, you create your own custom portfolio. You can only do this with your high net worth, but it's a pretty cool program if you can get into that program because it has that ability to keep going back and increasing that line of credit is my understanding. So you could theoretically lever up the same $1 million into a couple $1 million in stock portfolio, or you could just use the capital then from the line of credit to invest in real estate, in which case you could use that $700,000 to buy 10 properties, right? The down payment for like 10 properties. So you could do some really cool stuff, and it also helps your application because now you go to apply, you say, hey, I have a 7-figure portfolio in stocks. You go to them and apply for a mortgage, they're much more likely to approve you because you already have so much business with them. So that's some of the cool stuff you can do on the private banking side. So great question, Ace of Spades. Thank you for asking it. I have 3.5 minutes left on my birthday. I gotta be quick here. Happy birthday, nice gesture, Mike. I teach art and design full-time. It's rewarding. Helping kids is rewarding. Awesome. Yeah, I'm happy to give back. And for any of those people just tuning in now, please donate to the Boys and Girls Club of London. They're a fantastic organization that has helped me. I guess the Sarnia chapter helped me, but the organization helps a lot of those at-risk youth or those people who are struggling socioeconomically, help them rise up out of poverty and become well-adjusted adults who succeed in life. And so who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to give the next generation a chance to rise up and have the same opportunities that we have? So yeah, it's 15 minutes. Anyway, happy birthday, nice gesture. Did that one? Is DoorDash worth it as a side hustle? I haven't done DoorDash. When I looked into Uber, I saw that Uber's depreciation curve, it depends on what year your car is too. So it depends what kind of car you drive, how efficient it is on gas, etc., and so forth. But Uber, for most people driving newer cars, they're actually making less than minimum wage. So I would think DoorDash should be the same kind of thing as Uber from a overall depreciation perspective, gas perspective. Time is similar. So yeah. Okay. Next question. How fast was it with your city? My wife saw on IG they were trying to take to court over a bedroom. So this has already been dealt with. But here in London, there is a bylaw that requires no property to have more than 5 bedrooms. So no property in London, unless previously applied for and grandfathered, is allowed to have more than 5 bedrooms. You have 10,000 square foot massive houses downtown and in the suburbs that have 30 or 40 rooms in them, but they cannot be labeled bedrooms, and you cannot have more than 5 beds in a house. So this was an example where I had a dining room and an office and a den in the basement with beds in them. And that was illegal. And it was in my own primary residence where I lived. I had 2 asshole neighbors, and I'm gonna say this because it's fact. I had to move because they were that bad to live next to. Brutal. So anyway, that all got resolved actually. It turned out I was able to work out a deal, and everything got taken care of there. So the moral of the story is don't broadcast what you're doing on social media, first off. 2, don't let the city in if they want to enter your property. They should have no right if you live there. And 3, I guess the real number, I guess 3 is number 1, don't have a property with more than 5 bedrooms, which is like probably half of all the properties near Western and Fanshawe, like tens of thousands of houses in London, all illegal, right? Like so many properties have more than 5 bedrooms, right? Even new builds, it's just, you can't label it as a bedroom. You can't put a bed in it. If they find out you have a bed in it, you're contrary to the bylaw. Because some old fogies got together and decided they hated students and they didn't want to have more than 5 students ever in a house. Like, God forbid. Stupid, archaic rule. City of London is terrible to work with from a permit perspective and a zoning perspective. I really do hope if they actually are, if anyone's watching this and they are from the City of London or they know anyone who has any power, the City of London, if you wanted to fix the affordability housing crisis in London, you'd approve more secondary dwelling units. You'd approve more accessory dwelling units. You'd allow for increased densification. If you have an unfinished basement, do you know how hard it is right now to convert an unfinished basement to a legal suite? Months to get a permit. Months. And that's if you hire an engineer with an engineer's stamp to submit the permits. Months of back and forth. Some of the stupidest things I've ever seen coming back. It's so difficult. You have houses that are old that might have 6'4.5" under a bulkhead, and the rest of the basement's 8 feet tall, but under one bulkhead, it's low. Oh, unit's illegal. Can't have anyone ever go down there. Block that space off. City of London says you could never ever have anyone occupy that space. Like crazy rules. Just some stuff that like maybe they should have like a cautionary thing and say, hey, like this basement has a headroom issue that is 1/2 inch off of clearance, or hey, this bedroom window is only 3 foot by 2 foot, and the room is so big that it requires 3 foot by 3 foot, but the space can't allow for a bigger window. So in this case, the tenant can live there, but they have to realize that they're not getting enough natural light. They're only getting 5% of the natural light requirement, but they need 10% or something to that effect. I think that there's a housing crisis because the rules are so strict and the city's not easy to deal with. Even if you could follow the rules, it's just been terrible. Anyway, so I'm at 15 minutes. I gotta wrap up the stream. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate the birthday wishes, and everyone have a great...
Whoa, buddy.
I made it.
Buddy.
I made it.
Buddy.
Wow.
Whoa,
All right, bye everyone.
no,
Spend less,
no.
earn more, maximize returns.
Wow.